everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is for all the anime watchers out there that have no idea what Fate Grand Order is, because a lot of you don't. And I saw all the confusing comments and people going, what should I do? What should I watch? Should I play the game before I do this? Should I do that? This video is for you guys out there who are absolutely confused about what the frig is going on. I got you guys. Alright, first off, you do not need to play the game. We got you. You don't need to do it. It's already been established. You do not need to play the game to enjoy this adaptation. It will be, however, confusing, and I will get into bits that you will need to know before you watch this and stuff you do actually need to watch before you watch this adaptation, just to understand the world better. Technically, this is the 7th installment of Fate Grand Order in the storyline progression, so a lot has been established in between those times, but honestly, even the people that play the game will tell you everything in between then you can sort of skip. Really, you don't really need to pay attention. The stories were okay, but you don't really need to pay absolute attention to them. The best arcs in Fate Grand Order, in this up to Solomon sort of standpoint of the game, is Camelot and Babylonia, and they're both getting adaptations, so you're going to see the best of what Fate Grand Order game has to offer for you story-wise. According to Yuichi Fukushima and Shizuku Kurosaki, I had to read that because I knew I was going to butcher it and I still butchered it, but it doesn't matter. You do not need to see the Camelot adaptations before actually watching the Babylonia adaptations, so you don't have to worry about that. And according to both of them, you do not need to play the games. They're the ones that are directing this. You do not need to play the game. If you really, really are desperate, you can watch walkthroughs. There's tons of them out there of the actual storyline progression and stuff like that, but you do not need to play Fate Grand Order to enjoy these specific adaptations. What you do need to know, however, is some stuff that will probably be mentioned a lot from memory. These things were mentioned a lot during the arcs. Like, for example, you need to know which singularities are. Singularities are quite important in this sort of world at this point in the storyline arcs. All you need to know is singularities are unavoidable regions that do not exist within Chaldea's recorded history. This is if a hole has been opened within the timeline, a hole that's separated from the regular temporal axis. They are caused by holy grails, by the way, so holy grails are still a thing within this sort of adaptation, alright? Holy grails are still a thing. Alright, technically you don't have to do this, but I suggest that you do this because it will make it easier on you to understand FGO, because it's very, very different from all the other Fate adaptations you have seen in animation, alright? I suggest you go watch the first OVA, so the Fate Grand Order OVA. It stands on its own. It shows MASH and Ruska meeting and sort of the start of the journey of Fate Grand Order. You don't technically need to watch it. You can sort of get the gist of it a little from the episode 00 of Babylonia, but you would understand it more if you watch that OVA, so I highly suggest you do watch that OVA. It's only in sub to my awareness. I don't think they've dubbed it yet. If they have, woo, but I haven't seen it in dub. But do please, I'm begging you, watch that first, because then you won't be as confused as you will be when you get into this and you're like, this is nothing like Fate Apocrypha, for example, because it isn't. It also majorly explains Chaldea, and Chaldea is going to be mentioned a lot because that is the organization that the main characters are from. And you get a good idea of Chaldea's ins and outs and works from the first OVA and episode 00, so watching them both together, it'll be so easy to just slide into the first episode when it airs in under 24 hours. Now to get to the fun stuff, new stuff that you have no idea about, and it will not explain it at all. I bet you, it won't explain it. So you have Shielder. Now, Shielder is what MASH is. She is one of the main characters. She is a demi-servant. You will understand more about it in episode 00, but she is a class of her own. She is a Shielder. Pretty self-explanatory what her class does. Defense? But she's the only one of her class, but she is under that class Shielder, and it probably will be mentioned because that's her class that she's under. So not to be confused, that's her class. Then we have Avengers, and I'm gonna read this because it's long and I can't be stuck memorizing it because the episode airs in under 24 hours, so excuse me. Avengers, however, are vigilantes or heroic spirits of vengeance. Vindictive warriors that bear great hatred in the past, the embodiment of hatred itself. The dark side of the Holy Grail which contains the cup. Bum 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 bum, that's what Avengers are. They're basically the berserkers for everybody, including the berserkers. They just deal a whole lot of damage. The plot is fairly simple. Two heroes from Chaldea are sent to stop the 7th singularity, which is to save Gilgamesh and protect Uruk from the beasts that threaten to destroy all of humanity. That is all. Now we get to go into the characters, which is honestly the best part about Babylonia, because Babylonia has like a wide range of servants from different eras, different histories. It's great. You get to see a whole lot, and I'm about to dive into them real quick, but very, very, very briefly, because I need to edit this video and get it out before the episode airs, which is soon. Very, very soon. With under 24 hours I'm filming this within. First character, Foe. Now Foe is our adorable mascot that is basically going to be the MVP of this entire season, only because of one scene where he gets to hit a certain character which we all wish we could hit, and that's all I'm gonna say on that. Everyone loves Foe for this exact reason, and he's brilliant. Everyone should appreciate him. Moving up. Then we have Mash. Basically, you know everything about Mash from episode 00 anyway, but she is Best Kohai if you didn't know by now. And you shall protect and love Best Kohai. Moving on. Ritsuka! Now, because he is based off the main character of the Fate Granddaughter game, I don't know how his personality is going to turn out like. Maybe a lot like the OVA, but I hope, because most of his dialogue in the game is sassy, I hope that sassiness translates, because it'll be funny as heck and it'll be brilliant. So fingers crossed. He's a bit like Emiya, a little, but funnier, hopefully. Enkidu! Enkidu! Basically, most of you may know Enkidu already, possibly, because he has been mentioned quite a few times within other adaptations. For example, Carnival Phantasm he was mentioned. Prismilia.
なんだ鎖が勝手に僕だってさ笑うし怒るんだよいい加減僕の友を勝手に使うなよ雑種
Fate Zero as well.
あいにくだがな我が法友は後にも先にもただ一
Very, very briefly, mind you, very, very nonchalantly. Every time you see Gilgamesh and he's talking about his friend, or he's got his chains, and he goes, Enkidu, that is who he's talking about. What you need to know about Enkidu is that they are from Gilgamesh's legend, they are best pals, they are made out of clay, and the reason why I keep using they pronouns is they don't have a gender. They were made out of clay. But welcome to the it's not gay if it's clay meme, I guess. Please love my boy. He needs a lot of love and appreciation this season. Then we have Merlin. The walking troll. Literally. The troll of Fate Granddaughter. You've seen him in Apocrypha. That's all I'm willing to talk about with Merlin. I'm still like scarred because his event just happened and I didn't get him, so we're not talking about Merlin. But yeah, Merlin is a walking troll and that's literally all you need to know about him. Cast of Gilgamesh. Okay, what I do need to explain though is something about the classes and stuff like that and how a servant can change. So depending on how the servant is summoned and where from the legend that they're summoned, their personalities can change dramatically. So for example, Archer Gilgamesh is very different from Caster Gilgamesh. They have the same sort of essence, but they're pulled from different times in his timeline. So Archer Gilgamesh is when he was most powerful, he had everything going for him, he was on like the full hype train of his power. Caster Gilgamesh, however, is pulled from when he was the wise king, so he's a lot more chill, to be honest, willing to work with others and stuff like that. That's what he's sort of pulled from. So he's a lot different personality-wise, but you still understand that the same character, just have different attributes because they're pulled from different times and stuff like that. All that fun jazz. So that is why Caster Gilgamesh is a lot different from Archer Gilgamesh, which you will soon find out. Then we have Ishtar! This show's problematic tsundere. She does look like another tsundere, doesn't she? There's a very, very good reason for that, but I can't tell you why. I also want to call her by a nickname, but I can't tell you why either. She's a very mysterious servant that will be unpacked during the duration of the show. Along with a lot of other characters, which I can't talk about because they're all spoilers and they all end up in spoilerific parts, so I can't talk about any of them. But I really, really badly want to. Just know that this is filled with a lot of amazing servants that you will probably never see again in any other adaptation. Because they don't really appear in any other adaptation. Unless Strange Fate gets animated and I don't see that happen. Yep, so that's all the characters I can technically talk about because the rest of them are very, very spoiler heavy and I don't want to ruin the experience for anybody. So, basically, please enjoy the show. It's a lot different from your Fate Zeros, from the Fate Stay Nights, from like the extra stuff, from Apocrypha. It's its own separate ballgame. Now that all that's out the way, finally end the video so I can get some sleep after editing this and then actually watch the episode because it's gonna air in like 12 hours. Oh my god. Yeah, so the bottom line is watch the Fake Granddaughter OVA before you see it. Watch episode 00. You don't need to see the game. Don't need to have any knowledge of the game technically. Just watch those two things and you can go straight bam into it. I just gave you a brief understanding of what the characters are like so that you have a bit of background knowledge before you go in. That's all you need. Don't really need anything. I just gave you a little too much extra information, but it'll help you get invested into the characters. And hopefully maybe you'll pick up the game, because the game's actually a hell of a lot of fun. You will fall into gacha hell, but the game is a lot of fun. And with that, I am off to probably watch the episode by the time I've uploaded this, so have fun watching the episode, guys. I may or may not, like, film my reaction to the episode. I don't know. We shall see. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, guys, or night, wherever you may be, and